Welcome to Living the Dream, sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the podcast that brings together studio owners, dance educators, and leaders in the industry. Hosted by Ree Gold and Laura Giacomelli, each episode is packed with real talk, inspiration, and a passion for the dance life. We're so glad you're here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ree.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing?
I can't complain. I'm going to say hello to everyone and welcome to Living the Dream. I'm Ree Gold with my awesome co-host, Laura Giacomelli. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Great to be here. Our first podcast of 2026. Hello, everyone. Hopefully everyone had a great New Year.
And if you're watching live, jump into the comments and tell us where you're from, where you're watching. Where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you today.
Yes, and make sure you tell us where your studio is too if you want. We love catching up on the replay. And if you comment, we definitely read them as well. So please check in.
And a quick reminder right up front, you can listen to Living the Dream on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Sign up today. You'll never miss an episode. So we're back at it, Laura.
Back at it. My studio opened on Saturday, Ree, so we are really back at it.
Did you stop and not work and just do family over the holidays? How'd you do it?
I will say I stopped like 90%. I really did a firm stop. I checked emails and did some social media posting. And I ran payroll. And that was about it. I really tried to make sure that I spent a lot of time with my family, and the studio was, I think it's interesting how Christmas fell this year. So we had a really long break. We had like 2 full weeks off from the studio. So I enjoyed time with Cole and my parents, and I actually took my parents and Cole to Disney World. So we did that with all the other crazies in Florida. Just picked the busiest time of year to go to the happiest place on earth. It was great. And so it was a lot of fun.
Was it over New Year's?
We left the day after Christmas. We went on the 26th through the 31st. We flew back on New Year's Eve in the afternoon. Yeah.
Was it jam-packed?
It was, I think they said it was like record-breaking numbers on some of the days that we were there. So it was very crowded, but I will say, I'm sure many listeners do know, or some don't. My son is 5 and he has autism and ADHD, and Disney is so kind to offer a program for children and adults with disabilities that if you get like an interview, they get passes to skip certain lines, and that was amazing. So Cole was able to get that pass, and because of that, I was able to get it, and my parents were able to get it. Was everyone in his party? So we could just book a ride, and they would give us a time frame to go in between, and we can just go jump on the ride and not have to wait. And I said earlier, some of the rides were like an hour and 40-minute waits or an hour and 50-minute wait. So I'm 40 years old and can't wait an hour and 50 minutes for a ride.
No, you would not see re-waiting. You would not see it. I'd be on some kiddie ride because I could get on in 2 minutes.
You'd be on Dumbo over and over again, Ree, or Magic Carpet. I totally get it. No, but it was great though.
Not a line guy. Hello to Judy. Judy Sullivan is with us this morning. Those of you that are watching, let us know who you are and where you're from.
Yeah. Ree, how was your break? What did you do?
I drove home to Massachusetts.
Wow. How far was that drive?
It's a day and a half.
Yeah.
But I did it. I don't want to admit this because there's a few people who tell me you shouldn't do that. I got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and was home the next day at 6.
Wow.
Just went for it. And the best thing about that day was this. I was going to leave at 4, but I was awake at 2 and I was trying to go back to sleep and I couldn't. And
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't I just go? I'll get home earlier.
Yeah.
Well, I was not paying attention to the news at all, and a major snowstorm was going on outside. But I got myself in the car, brushed off the snow, and decided to go. Not the smartest move. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I discovered was I started off at 12 degrees. As I'm moving, I get closer to New York, it's 18 degrees. As I hit Pennsylvania, it's 21 degrees. Do you know by the time I hit North Carolina, it was 73 degrees? I experienced everything that America had to offer on that day as far as the weather goes. It was
That's crazy.
snowing. It was like I was so happy to be home, but and you know this because you're in Pennsylvania, you know that mush that gets all over your car?
Yeah.
So I got home, hadn't really looked at my car. I got home, looked at my car when I hit Carolina, and I'm covered in mud, total like snow
Yep.
mud. I did not look like all the other white cars
Right.
here in Carolina.
That they probably never seen any salt on their car ever. They're like, what is that white stuff on your car, Ree? What did you do? You're like, I was up north. It's on every car up there.
Made me realize how much I love living where I live now, honestly.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah. And this week it's going to get into the high 60s and 70s. So for my friends at home, I'm enjoying the journey. Wish you were with me. So we have Lisa Schmiedeke here with us today. She's got 2 studios in Tampa, Florida. Before we go to her, before we bring in Lisa, let's thank Jackrabbit Dance. I'm getting all my tools ready here. Hang on one second.
Yep, you're good.
I want to thank Jackrabbit Dance for all of their help and sponsorship through all the years. And they keep us organized.
Yes, for sure. They help studios run smoother with registration, communication, billing, and the tools that keep us organized so we can spend time leading and not chasing details. And especially for preschoolers, it's easier for parents to register, get the info, stay on track, and that's better with helping with retention. So thank you, Jackrabbit.
Okay, we will be back with Lisa right after this commercial break. That sounds so professional, doesn't it? Here we go.
This episode is sponsored by Jackrabbit Dance, the dance studio software empowering you to build the studio of your dreams. With over 20 years of experience, Jackrabbit has the solutions and industry insights to help your business grow. Want to increase student enrollment, optimize your pricing to be profitable, or improve staff retention? See how other studios are using Jackrabbit Dance to hit their goals year after year. To learn more, visit jackrabbitdance.com/benchmarks.
Lisa Schmiedeke, right?
Yes.
It took me 4 or 5 years, but I think I got it down. It took me that long for Giacomelli as well. So
yes.
Welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Ree.
Welcome, Lisa. Thank you for being here today. I'm excited to chat with you.
Me too. Thanks, Kelly.
So I'm going to start us off with this question. What do you believe, Laura? I'm jumping on your question here, but what would you say are the top 2 or 3 things that you refuse to compromise when it comes to early childhood and preschool classes? Did I stump you? Did you hear the question? What won't you compromise? Lisa, you hearing me?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking her that. I'm sorry.
No, I'm
Nope.
asking you that, my
Okay.
friend.
Oh, what would I not compromise? Well, I think having age appropriate activities and music for the students. You need to also have a teacher that actually is passionate and connects with the children. You know, you would think of like getting somebody who's very technique oriented, but with the little ones, they need to have more of the connection of, I love little ones, because they just don't have the attention span as somebody in a ballerina, in a ballet class. So it's just important to find someone who really loves and is passionate about teaching preschool kids.
How many preschool kids flow through your school or schools? It's 2 studios, right?
Yes. So when you say preschool, my 2 and under, I have over 200. And then with my preschool ages, which for me is 3 to 5-year-olds, I have about 322.
Lisa, that is like.
So are we saying, did you just say 500?
Oh, definitely. If you're including 6-year-olds, I have about close to 600.
Okay. Laura, take this next question right here.
Absolutely. Okay, so walk us through what your preschool classes look like. And it can be like a 2 and under class or 3 to 5 class. I know you said you kind of break that up into those ages, but you pick whichever one you like. Tell us the age. What do you teach and how do you keep it moving so it works for the kids and the parents in that class?
Okay, I'll pick my twirling tutus classes. So what I start with is, number one, my parents know that it's not a starter class. All my classes, whether I start at 18 months, it's a core program. So you will build up to go to the other classes. I offer a lot of them from that age level. But my twirling tutus class, they come into the classroom. I always have an assistant in the class with me, very energized, well-trained. I train my assistants, even my teachers, of course. We go straight to the ballet bar. We sing my welcome song that I have trained all my teachers. We may not sound great, but they don't care. And then we do a ballet skill. We maybe do a ballet ABC song. So we're all singing the ABCs and we're working on our little plies. And it's not turnout focused, perfect first position. It's more about building confidence, encouraging our students, because the parents really want them to feel safe. They want them to develop independence at this age. And then after that, we'll go and we do the same warm up every single class, because they need consistency. They need to have the repetition to feel confident coming into the classroom. So for my 3-year-olds, their attention span is typically, as research says, it's about 5 to 10 minutes for a 3-year-old, more 5 minutes. So you obviously cannot, my classes last 45 minutes. So you can't have the dance skills more than, I typically say 3 minutes, and you have to keep them going quite fast. I use a lot of props with my twirling tutus, which is our ballet class. And I try to also, because attention, you can't explain a lot. They can't be sitting down. You have to keep them moving. And they also say that they learn best through music and movement. That's their attention span. So we will start out with maybe going across the floor And I train my staff on the readiness levels for 3-year-olds. They're working on jumping, they're working on galloping. They're not quite ready for the skipping yet, but
Right.
they're working on, some of the locomotive movements for their age level that's appropriate. Then we'll use a lot of props. We'll do a lot of creative movements. They're still learning. They're at that point, we're twirling with our teddy bears, our bumblebee wings on, whatever I can find to put on them that they just love to keep their attention. And then we end consistently every class too. We end with a goodbye song with my 3-year-olds. Once they're 4 and 5, we typically end with the reverence because they can get that. But we end with a goodbye song. We do our curtsies at the door. They get their color sheet and they get their sticker and stamps. And I walk out, talk to the parents, try to have that transition time where I can say, Susie did a great job today. She flew with her butterfly wings. She paraded across the floor on her tiptoes. I try to leave everything with a positive note.
Awesome.
Ooh, you said a lot there that I have questions about. One thing you started off with was that all the classes are core. So are you creating in the parent's mind right from the beginning that they'll move from this to this to this?
Yes.
Okay, tell everybody why that's so important.
Well, you can really see the difference from when someone starts with, say, our Twinkle Toe 2 class, or if they're in the baby ballerina, which is 18 to 24 months. When they move on to the 2-year-old class, and then I have a new 2-year-old in there, parents will say, wow, how do they know to go to the ballet bar? How do they know how to point their toes? How do they know this? And I said, oh, they were in my baby ballerina class.
Right.
So you can see the advancement of the taking the class and just learning from the previous year. They're like little sponges and they just grasp it. So I try to keep them. That's my goal, to keep them, to move up, and to keep them till they're through high school. So I do think that they can see that. Now I do have different classes because there might be someone that, twirling tutus isn't her thing. Not everyone's made to do the ballet class. It is a little bit more structured. So maybe they choose to do the tumble and twirl class. So there's a little bit more activity because we're tumbling across the floor. Or maybe a combo class might be better. I offer about 7 different classes for my preschool program.
Give us a few of those.
Okay, so I offer a tumble and twirl. We do have a tiny tumblers or preschool acro class. I have a ballet and tap. I have a Broadway babies, which is just the tap. We have a little hip hop. We have a little chair class. We have it's like a tiny prep class for those who want to maybe compete in our cheer team later.
Okay. Here I am picturing, what do you do with chairs in the classroom?
Cheer. You cheer?
I had it wrong. Out of all of those, what would you say is the most popular? Is it the twirling?
I would say they're all pretty popular. I mean, my Twinkle Toes and my baby ballerina classes fill up. Those are my 2-year-old classes. And there's just not much to do. You don't want to be in the heat in Florida, always outside. So it's something to do with the 2-year-old. The parents want to get their kids out among other children, right, where they can observe them and know that they're safe. Like I said, safe, and they're being built up and encouraged. So I think that's why my 2-year-olds is just so full. Plus, it's my baby. That's something where I do the lesson plans for. I'm very active in watching it, and I love that program. And then as far as when they go to preschool, I think they have such trust in my studio. And my classes are great. I mean, I just feel like all my teachers are just amazing. They've been trained and they know that I'm there to support them. Like if there's ever an issue in class, I will go observe and help them.
Mhm. And that feeling that is really important because I know before I owned a studio, having that support from a studio owner was really important. And I will say to add on to that too, creating those bonds and those relationships with those families so when their children are so young is so I like it's going to feed into your program because like Cole started swimming when he was 6 months old. He's now 5. We still go to the same place for swim. So for he's 5 years old and for 4.5 years we've been going to the same swim school because same thing. They have a structure. You follow the structure. He gets moved up. He graduates. Like they have, it's very clear. And they pulled me in when he was so little, and I created that bond with them, which is what you're doing with your clientele. They're entrusting in you. You're giving them a beautiful product. Their children are leaving happy. Why are they gonna? It's perfect. The machine works well, so why not just continue with it? So it's great. I want to kind of shift a little bit, Lisa, and talk about growth. Where do most of your preschool families come from? Is it word of mouth? Do you have a unique marketing thing that you do online? Are you old school, do print ads? How does all that work for you? How do you have such a successful preschool program?
So it's definitely word of mouth is number one. I know that we have probably 7 studios, which are maybe between 2 and 3 miles, very close to us. And I know that other studios have tried to provide some of the younger classes, but I do think it's word of mouth. I also go into the preschools and teach. I go to about 8 preschools in the area. So they're also seeing me in those preschools, and those kids are sharing that. They're all in my recital. So we're also getting those parents to see what we do with the younger students. We have done mailers in the past. For us, they might help more with the older kids than the preschool program. And we do go in the community and do some dancing in the community.
Mhm.
So I would just say for us, it's more word of mouth. But yeah, it's funny because I will run into parents and they're like, "You're Miss Lisa." Everyone knows Miss Lisa because my child danced with you when she was 2, and now I'm seeing my students come in with their babies. So it's so nice to know that they still have that passion and love for me where I'm teaching, although I feel old, but they're still bringing them to me because they're like, "I remember your classes still," which just warms my heart. Yeah.
That's such a compliment, Lisa, that like you made such an impression on them that now they want to bring their own babies to you. Like that's really spectacular. That's awesome.
Thank you.
What would you say are your key enrollment times? Is it
Mm.
obviously August, September when the studio opens, but are there other times of the year that you feel are prime times for preschool enrollment?
So January seems to be
Yeah.
a big one. So I find that in December, you kind of have a few drops. People are counting how many classes they get. And they're like, I'll just come back in January. But they go to come back and their spot is no longer there because we've gotten a lot of other people registering. So January is a big time. They're trying to get in for the recital still. I'm hoping I get back and see we have quite a few enrollments. We do add classes in January just because my preschool classes and my 2-year-old classes are full. So we try to add a few more to the schedule to help out. And I was going to say something too, like with my 2-year-olds, the parents are out of the room. And the baby ballerina is when the parents are in the room. That's the 18 to 24 months. But it is also important to offer classes for 2-year-olds and sometimes 3-year-olds to have one mommy and me class, because there's just some kids that are ready to be away from their mom. And although I like them to be out of the room because I feel like I'm trying to foster the independence of the child, you still need to offer some classes like that because some are just not ready. they're still home with mom and they just want to be in their mom just present right there next to them. So those classes also fill up pretty quick too.
Lisa, how many 5 and under classes? It doesn't have to be exact number, a ballpark. How many do you offer a week?
Oh, goodness. Whew.
Like 50, 60?
I would say probably close to 60, yes. Because we have at my studio, I just looked this up yesterday. We offer 159 classes in my studio per week. I mean, between two studios.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it might be even 65. Yeah, we have a lot. We also offer in the day. Like we're open in the day for those who are not in preschool.
Wow.
And do your daytime classes fill up? Like, is it as successful as afternoon or not?
Yes. So today we just added a few of them on there, and there might only be like 4 kids in the ones we just added for January, but I anticipate that they will fill up. My classes that I teach of my babies, I teach a baby ballerina and a twinkle toes. They're both full. Out of my 4 classes, they're full. And I would say the majority are full in the morning.
Okay. That is so interesting because growing up as a kid, my mother had a lot of morning classes. Now I would say that there are very few daytime classes in the studio because of the working mom. And it's just changed. And I'm sure you know this already, Lisa. If somebody had told you 20 years ago that you'd be running preschool classes at 5 or 5:30 in the afternoon, they tell you you're nuts. These kids that's when they're their wildest and all of this. Now some of those 5:30 classes are our biggest classes.
Yep.
Yeah, our classes with our younger kids in the evening are packed, and it's hard because you do have working moms and they want them to still dance. And our Saturday classes fill up so quickly. So those classes are full. You definitely see a difference between the students in some of the evening classes than in the morning. But I was going to say, even though the parents work, there are a lot in South Tampa. We do have nannies who come and bring their kids to class. And sometimes a dad will come to the Twinkle Toe Tues classes. So there's stay-at-home dads.
We have a question here. Do you run your toddler, mommy, and me classes for a full season or in sessions?
It's for the whole year.
And Lisa, do they perform at the end? If they have a recital performance, your youngest, your 18-month-old to 24-month?
Yeah, so I have just a two and under recital. So I do have a 10 to 18-month tiny tutus class.
Wait, did you say a 2 and under recital so everybody in
my heart?
Yes.
I caught that too. That's amazing.
I do. This year it's called In the Jungle. So we'll have a bunch of little jungle animals. I do 3 recitals. I do have some of my top older comp kids dance as like a little in between so that they do see that we do have some advanced dancers. And I'll usually have 7 classes perform in each recital. So we have 3 of them. At the end, I call them all on stage, all the kids, and we do a little finale, and it's usually something relating to the theme. So there's a song called In the Jungle, and I'll lead that on the stage. And after they dance, they just go sit with mom. There's some lollipops there. It's very informal. It's at a small venue. It's not where I do my main recital. And it's
Do you ever bring babies into the main recital, or are they just kept in their own show?
They're kept in their own show, except for my holiday show. I have 2 of my 2-year-old classes open up the Nutcracker, and then I'll have another class open up.
Very cool.
Lisa, I'm not sure if we asked, how many years have you been in business now?
This is, I want to say, my 23rd year.
23rd.
Was it always as was your preschool program always successful from the start, or was it something that evolved?
Well, I started, before I opened my business, I started teaching at the preschools. So that is where I started, and my classes were really full. So that is how I was a school teacher, and then how I came to open up my studio. I have 3 girls of my own. So as a mom, I had to find something there where they could be with me, because I am a single mom. And I just have always been passionate about the little ones. This is just where my passion lies. And I hire my teachers to deal with the older children. Once they hit a certain age, I'm like, they're all yours. So I think it's really important that you also, everyone has a mission statement in their studio. I think you need to have mission statements for each group. Like I have a preschool mission statement, a mission statement for your age levels of competitive dancers, your mission statement for your rec dancers, because they're all so different.
Mm.
And to have the right teachers in those classes as well.
Okay, I'm throwing you off here, but what's your mission statement for preschool?
Oh, you're putting me on the, well,
Okay.
I would say my mission statement, it's not in front of me, but it's definitely to nurture confident, independent children, and to just build them up and to plant the seed for the passion to dance. Anyone can dance. You don't always have to have the perfect plie. It's more about just having fun, really having fun, because I just really want them to love to dance and move. And then it's really, once they get all their developmental stages and are ready to go on to the more technique classes, at least they have that I can do it feeling.
Mm. Building that confidence. Yeah. Yeah. Lisa, when it comes to preschool, that was the last, I kind of backed myself out of teaching and teaching and teaching. But I will be honest, at one point I was teaching like 17 baby classes a week at Libra, and I loved it. I love teaching the babies. They're amazing, but I also love teaching my older kids as well. I love it. But I did not back out of teaching from my littles until I found the right staff. What do you think is key for finding the right teachers? What is your method? How do you find them? How do you train them? Do you train them? Talk about that.
So most of the teachers have to start out assisting me, or assisting a teacher that I think is a lead teacher for my preschool program. I do my own training with them, and no matter what, they have to come in and shadow me. I have to see them interacting with the children. Like I have to see them hands-on. Because someone can come in and say, oh, I love babies, or I love little ones. And then they get in the classroom and they're like, oh, she sneezed. It's just, someone loves preschoolers if they grab a tissue and wipe their nose, it happens.
Right. And keep it moving. Exactly.
Yeah, and
exactly.
you have to be fast. So I will say, with the proper training, that's super important to me. Again, I have made mistakes before. I have hired a ballet teacher who said she wanted more classes. She loved preschool. I trained her, thought that was going to be great. And I saw some things happening, like you can't sit at the ballet bar for 15 minutes with a 2-year-old class, So I've made those mistakes, but I've learned from them, which has helped me make my program successful. I also have my own lesson plans, and they're welcome to bring their own into it once I see that they're doing well. But I really like them to follow. They have to follow my exact way of teaching, though. They have to follow like the welcome song, from the beginning to the end. They have to just follow the way that I structure my class.
I kind of love that though. Because then if someone comes in and say they're in Miss Laura's class on Monday at 4:00, but they miss, and now they're going into Miss Lisa's class at Saturday at 9 a.m. for a makeup class, they're going to walk in. They might be a little nervous, but when they hear that welcome song, they're going to run right to the ballet bar.
Yes.
Like that. I feel like that trust and that consistency, like what you were saying, is going to be there if it's the same class across the board. Like,
yes.
I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, from beginning, especially in the beginning, you need to have that consistency because that's just what they flourish on, little ones. They want repetition.
Lisa, I noticed you talk about the welcome song and the goodbye song. You've written these yourself?
I have, yes.
And how do you go about making that happen?
So I've always used these songs, but over COVID, I hate to say the word, but I actually wrote 2 albums for 2-year-olds and then preschool. I just feel it's hard. You start listening to the same songs every week and you're just trying to find something new to use with your props, with these little ones. Body awareness is so big, directional concepts, but you want to relate it to a magic wand. So I just started writing my own music. And then I just hired someone and had her sing because I can't sing. Although the kids think I can sing, they also think I'm really pretty.
Both are true. Both are true, Lisa.
Maybe that's why I teach preschoolers.
Can I ask you on that? Do you think teachers who are really good at preschool work aren't so good at the more advanced work, or is the more advanced teacher not so good at working with preschoolers? Is it a niche or is it I can do it all?
I do have teachers that are my competitive teachers for some of my top teams, contemporary, lyrical, and she has been trained to teach the 2s, and she's great. So I just think she's also nannies in the day part-time. You just have to have that love. Yeah. You have to love little kids. You have to look at them and just feel that awe. They're so cute. You have to have that passion.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the teacher that maybe isn't right. What could I do as a studio owner to either guide them to get to the right place, or what is it that you think I should do to take action if my instinct tells me this is not the best preschool teacher?
Well, I do think you need to support your preschool teachers because I feel that burnout is very easy to have when you're teaching the preschoolers. You have to know how to handle situations, behaviors that may come up. And I always call it a trick in the bag. You need to have a trick in the bag for that day that something might happen. There definitely are teachers that are not teaching preschool or teaching the top point ballet class. I don't think one is easier than the other. But I would not probably want my point teacher, technical ballet teacher in with my littles. She may be able to, but mine would probably not do well just because you don't have that little kid energy. You're more structured, focusing on your technique. And really with my littles, it's like I almost become a child again when I'm teaching. I look at it as I'm almost on like a stage with these little ones. And I'm just trying to find ways to relate to them, what they actually can relate to. I don't know. I feel like you have to have somebody who's just doesn't care about what other people are thinking and just have an energy about them.
Right.
How long are the classes? We have a question from Heather. Like average.
So all my 2 and under classes are 30 minutes, which I think is perfect because, again, their attention span is between 2 to 4 minutes. So 30 minutes is good for me. If they're 2.5 to 3, that's when my Broadway babies start, and that's 45 minutes. And then all my 3 to 5-year-old classes are 45 minutes.
Nice.
Okay.
And you feel that's a good time, even if you need to change shoes, if they're going from ballet to tap, that still gives enough time for a buffer to accomplish that?
Yeah, so we always start with tap first because it's so much
Yeah.
easier to take tap off and get ballet on. I have an assistant in my ballet and tap classes, so between 2 of them, they just we always have, there's a song, it's called Change My Shoes. So we play that and it's like a little game. Who can get your ballerina shoes on and meet at the ballet bar before it finishes? And it's amazing how some of these little ones now can put on their ballet shoes and don't need our help.
Yep.
So
Little motivation, Lisa, right? It's like
Yep.
a creative as a teacher, and they're like, "Yep, I'm ready."
mhm.
That's sweet.
Judy Sullivan says, I have a preschool voice and a teenage voice. Would you agree with that? Is that?
Oh, definitely. Definitely, yes. And I can hear Judy's voice. She definitely does.
So, Lisa, I kind of want to shift a little bit. Since you have such a booming program for 5 and unders, I would like to talk about what are some boundaries you have in place to keep your program so large. Like, what are your rules for dropping? What are your rules for observation, for makeup, sick policies? Can you talk about like those things?
Sure. So if someone misses a class, they can make up the class for that month. So if they miss in December, they can make up. I even allow, if we are closed for 2 weeks, I don't mind having more kids in the class. So I will allow them to make up, even though they're getting 4 the next month or sometimes 5, because they all kind of balance it out. So I do allow for the makeups. I think clear communication is super important. And again, having transition time, allowing assistants to maybe help with the communication to the parents. It's always important to say something to the parents at the end of the class. This is something I learned. You shouldn't run out of class, run to the next class. You need to connect with those preschooler parents because they want to hear some feedback. So that's really important. As far as dropping, we do ask for a 2-week notice to drop the class. And it's no problem. I always ask why. I keep track of why people drop so that I can make the studio better. And usually it's maybe that they move. We do have a lot of military families nearby. So sometimes they get transferred and we do lose some of our military kids.
Right.
What's the max? This is a question from Heather as well. What's the max number of students in a class? Do you have a set
Yes,
ratio?
we do. So for the baby ballerina classes, depending on the teacher, if it's someone that is maybe a new teacher, I usually like to take 8 students to 10. For myself, I will take 13 to 14, which I have an assistant sometimes too. But I have to know the class for me to go that route. Usually it's 10. If it's just a great class, they're doing awesome, I'll take more because I do have a large room that I teach in. And I also recommend not using your largest room to teach like a baby ballerina class. Sometimes the smaller room is better and taking smaller ratios is better. I would say 8 is probably a good size. For my 3 to 5-year-old classes, I will stop at 12. And I have an assistant in those classes as well.
Do you think having the assistant makes it so that you can have more? And is it always just one assistant?
It's usually just one assistant. If I do see like a child needs extra help in the class, or if I have a child that maybe, has some special needs, I will get an assistant for that child because I feel it's important to let everyone dance. So I will spend that extra to get someone there. I want them to succeed.
I love that, Lisa, especially as a special needs mom. So
yes, and I want them
thank you.
They should dance with their typical peers. They should be able to do what they do.
I'm with you on that 100%. I think that dance is for everyone, and sometimes we forget about that. And that the child who is having a hard time at the beginning may turn out to be a great dancer, may turn out to be a dance teacher. We have to work with every child and figure out where they're at and take it from there. So for the owner listening who wants to run preschool like a real department, what would you say are the things that I need to be sure that we have, or what numbers do I need to track?
I'm a little confused on the question. You're asking me what they need to have like in the classroom, what should they be prepared with to start the program?
Yeah, what do I need to say, you know what, starting in 2026, I am going to run a preschool program and I am going to focus on it and try to make it grow and do all the best that I can so that instead of having 20 babies, I can have 100 babies in a couple years. What is it that I need to be thinking about and doing?
I would say that you need to definitely come up with a plan for your classroom. You can't just go into a classroom and put on music. I have seen other, not that I don't know what works, but other studios thinking like I could put on Princess Disney music and have my 2-year-olds move around the room. And I think that you have to almost look at the developmental readiness of each classroom and where they are, because if you're looking at your babies, they don't really know what a princess is yet. So I tell my staff, you have to look at what a 2-year-old can relate to. So if they can relate to, they know what a butterfly is, they've seen that, they know zoo animals, they know how to take a bath. You just have to think of what they do daily to lesson plans. So we do a lot that they know of daily. And same thing for my 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds. And you also have to know, like, you can't expect a 2-year-old to jump because they're just not ready for that. They're not grown to be able to jump yet. It's cute to see them try to jump, but they can't do it. And you have to find ways to make them learn, like to help them learn. So I will put out a squishy mat, because as soon as you step on a squishy mat, you're going to want to jump. And you have to, as far as kicking, like they don't know how to kick, but if you put a little ball on the ground, they can learn to kick, or a beanbag. You have to just get into a mind of how to learn that, if that makes sense.
I get it. It's having a purpose for what you do, meaning it's not about turning on music and them dancing. What is this improving? What skill is this offering the child?
And consistency.
And consistency.
Consistency, repetition, at least for the beginning and the end, and some kind of enforcement. So as I said, I give these cute little coloring sheets away. The parents love them. They just love to get their color sheets. It's something they get to do when they go home with them. They get to review what they learned, something that they can relate to. They get their stamp or sticker. 2 and under, we blow these sticky bubbles and the kids get them all over their hair and they just love them. But it's the reinforcement. You have to have something at the end. And I always end the class saying, what was something you loved today? Just so that they have that remembrance of something fun they did in class.
Mm.
And that's also in their brain when they get into the car and the parents say, "What did you do in class today?" And they're going to say, "Remember you saying to them, I learned how to gallop today. Like, that's what we did." Like that. And then the parents are going to sit in the car and be like, "Wow, my money is worth it. They
Yeah.
are learning in the classroom." Because I feel like that's something that maybe some of us studio owners miss sometimes or teachers miss sometimes. This is a product that they're paying for, and parents do want to know that, yes, they're having fun, but a lot of parents make sure they're learning too. They're learning
Mm.
skills. They're growing from week to week. They want to see that progression, not just as they level up, but like being able to communicate that in the car ride home. Like, yeah, I'm learning this now, and next week we're going to do this with Miss Lisa. Like, that's a big
Mhm.
deal to parents, and that helps, I'm sure, with retention as well.
Yes.
Um, Lisa, we're gonna shift a little bit. We're kind of getting close to
Before
the
we
end. Oh, I'm
do,
sorry. Go ahead, Ray.
no, I just want to ask this question, and then
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going to shift. What is typical age range
Oh,
for
yeah.
your assistants?
For my what?
Assistants.
So my assistants are typically teachers at my studio or apprentice
Oh,
teachers. I would say that my typical age is 20 to 25. I don't have, because in the day
wow.
they're students, they're in school. Um, Sometimes I'll get a college student, so she might be 19 to 20, but it's
So,
usually
Okay.
somebody who relates to little ones.
so your classroom assistant is almost like a co-teacher
Yes.
level.
Hmm.
Yeah, nice. So
Because
that's nice to have two adults in the classroom too.
yeah, it is nice. They have to get, and a lot of them, they want to do the baby classes because I pay the same for, if they're a teacher, I pay them for a 30-minute class. If they have two 30-minute classes, that's a pretty good pay rate, right there. And if they are passionate about the babies, they're like, "Oh, I want to learn. I want to do this." So,
Does that happen where you have assistants that after a while become the faculty for the preschool?
oh yes, I have them assist before I just put them in. Nobody will just get thrown into the little program. I have to make sure that I feel confident that they're going to do it the way I do it.
Okay. Laura, I want to go to rapid fire, but I want to say something that you said 2 or 3 times in this conversation, Lisa, that I'm not sure everybody is thinking about. And that is when that class is over, going and making contact with the parents,
Yeah.
communicating with them and building that relationship. And actually, in some cases, it may take you building in the time so you don't have to run from one class to the other. But the value of it is so important. Yes?
Yes. Yes, it's very important because they're looking for effective communication. Some people, they don't read emails. They want to know what's going on. They want to know about the recital. They want to know if you're having a special program, if you're introducing new classes, but most important, they want to know how their child is doing.
Mhm.
And if you could just say a few words, like, "This was a great class. They paid attention so well. They loved doing, whatever activity it was," just a few little words, they really take that in as, wow, she loves my kids. She's giving them the attention that they need.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want to know that they're trusted with whoever's teaching.
Mm.
I love this conversation because it is my belief, and you prove it, that a strong early childhood preschool program
Mhm.
means a strong school and a strong future. And I'm not always sure that we think that way. We think we'll get new 7-year-olds or we'll get new 10-year-olds. Those 7-year-olds come from the preschool and make it to age 7, etc.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's like, to me, it's like we could spend $100 on a master teacher to teach our advanced kids, or we could spend maybe not quite 100, but $40 on that preschool teacher who is so awesome at what they do that your program just keeps growing and growing and growing. And isn't that what we should be doing?
Yes.
Okay, I'm talking too much. Go to quick answers.
All right, Lisa. So we're going to move into our rapid fire part now. So literally, don't overthink it. First answer that comes to your head. First question, do you prefer coffee or tea?
Ooh, neither. Tea. I'm not a big coffee or tea drinker.
What are you a drinker of? Oh, don't tell us.
Sparkling water. Sparkling water.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
A song that always makes you happy.
Yes. Makes me happy. Did you say makes me happy?
No, what song always makes you
Oh,
happy?
what song always makes me happy?
I'm wondering what yes is. Like,
I'm like, what is yes? I don't I know that song. Is that on your album, Lisa?
Oh my gosh. You Are My Sunshine.
Love it.
Okay. Where do you go to reset when the studio or life feels heavy?
Bally.
Well, with those 600 students, 5 and under, yes, you can, Lisa. Yes, you can. Okay?
Yep. And I know that she likes to wear really cool swimwear as well, because I've commented on it before.
Yes, I do.
And last but not least, what does living the dream mean to you?
Living the dream means loving what I do, loving my job.
And do you feel like you love your job every day?
Well, I cannot lie, not every day. There are some issues that I don't like to deal with, but overall, I 99% love my job. I love what I do.
One of the lucky ones.
Yes,
yeah, I agree. Those who have dance in their lives have something unique and special that is flowing through their blood and will always be there. Once it's in you, it will last forever.
Very true.
So thank you, Lisa. We appreciate you sharing the preschool program and the truths about running a preschool program.
Thank you for having me. Sorry, I froze. I thought that they were asking you a question, and I was like, sorry about that.
All good.
Don't worry about it.
So much.
It is one I'll remember because
yeah.
Me too.
I was like, are we frozen? Is she frozen?
I was like, why are you answering? Why are you looking at me? Thank you, guys.
Come on, Laura, wake up.
Thank you. I want to thank Jackrabbit for sponsoring us, and please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify and listen to all of our podcasts. And also you can see us on YouTube as well.
Yep. And we'll see you next time on Living the Dream. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Take care. That's a wrap on this episode of Living the Dream. A huge thank you to our sponsor, Jackrabbit Dance, for their support of our community and helping dance studios thrive. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your dance friends. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep dancing, and keep making a difference.